ice caps are melting. Old news, right? Sure, we know it's a problem, and that if we don't do something to reverse global warming, our days are numbered. But what if some of us are cashing in on the fact that all of us are in danger? See how big Mexico is? That's how much area of sea ice we've lost if we compare what we have now with averages from 1981 to 2010. Some places, like Greenland, have reached a critical tipping point. Making matters worse, white ice reflects sunlight, but water absorbs it. So the less ice there is, the warmer the water and the more ice melts. The Arctic and Antarctica are warming twice as fast as the rest of the planet. And though they have some similarities, they've got a lot of differences. The Arctic, also known as the geographic North Pole, is made entirely of sea ice and glaciers, surrounded by land. 8 countries claim portions north of the 66th parallel. That's the exact opposite of the South Pole, the Antarctic, a landmass surrounded by ocean. The Antarctic Treaty forbids drilling the land for now. They're our newest frontier, and money-hungry industries are itching to get their hands on them. The South Pole has a host of minerals like silver, gold, cobalt, copper, iron, manganese, lead, and zinc. It even has coal and oil. The North Pole is believed to hold 1/5 of all the world's oil reserves and abundant natural gas as well. Extracting them is a costly and difficult operation. But Russian President Vladimir Putin has his heart set. 43 of the Arctic's 61 large oil fields are on Russian territory.
According to estimations, the total value for raw materials in the Arctic is higher than $30 billion.
This construction site has become a symbol of the Arctic's potential. It was made possible by melting ice caps. These natural gas fields are now within reach in Sibeta, Russia, some 600 kilometers north of the polar circle, thanks to French energy giant Total, backed by Russian and Chinese funding. Annually, the site could extract the equivalent of 2/3 of France's yearly consumption. But you can't bake an omelet without breaking eggs. Thousands of people work on site, and their very presence is damaging the environment. And since the soil is permafrost, frozen land, it'll be even slower to repair itself compared to other types of environments. As the Arctic ice melts, new commercial shipping routes will open, and cargo carriers are eager to save time and money.
It's getting warmer and warmer each year. There's the old ice that still remains. You can see some chunks of that. In a few years, that won't exist anymore.
Today, to ship something from Tokyo to Rotterdam by boat, it'll travel 21,100 kilometers through the Suez Canal, or 23,300 kilometers via the Panama Canal. That drops to 15,900 if it travels through the Arctic Northwest Passage, that's through North America, or even lower, to 14,000 kilometers via the Arctic Northeast Passage in Russian territory. For now, these routes are frozen most of the year, but experts say so much ice will have melted by 2040 that ships will be able to use them regularly. Tourists, though, are already flocking to see this pristine and rapidly changing scenery. In 2015, Greenland welcomed 70,000 visitors. That's more than the local population. And they each paid quite a sum, 3,000 euros for a no-frills one-week trip. Meanwhile, a 2-week stay in Antarctica will set you back 7,000 euros. The irony is that by their very presence, tourists are accelerating the region's deterioration. So how can we extract resources from the North and South Poles without damaging them? Is it even possible? Our guest will tell us more.
Is there going to be a demand? Yes, there's going to be a demand because all around the world, there's the growth in terms of urbanization and the growth in terms of energy resource demands and the growth in population just fuels this whole demand for new resources. So the Arctic is going to be exploited, and the scale of this exploitation will only grow. The real question now is, can we make this territory a territory of sustainable growth? The Arctic is not a territory like the other ones around the world. The general public all around the world knows the Arctic as this pristine territory with polar bears and walruses and so on and so forth. They don't want this Arctic territory to be spoiled by companies. But at the same time, all these global economic forces create the demand for companies and investors to go to the Arctic to extract these resources. What the shareholders want today is to make sure that this social responsibility and this environmental responsibility are really, really secured in the projects. Because if they're not taken into account, then the project starts off on the wrong foot. That's why the environment and the social responsibility have a value in the business-making decisions in the Arctic, maybe more than in other parts of the world.
We may not be able to roll back time, but can we refreeze the ice? That's the surprising idea from researchers at the University of Arizona in the US. The project's success is only theoretical, and it would cost hundreds of billions of dollars. But can we really put a price tag on the Earth's survival?